Okay, now we are moving on to something different from the monotonous rigor of find the right word or appropriate word or phrase. Alternative for the underlined part. Okay, so the sentence contains something underlined and we have to replace it with something else that's given in the options. That's what we are looking at. The pharmaceutical company hired a consultant to supervise a task force studying lower salaries as to their effects on employees' morale. Okay, straight away we can see that there's something weird about the sentence. We need to replace the underlined part. So first let's analyze the sentence. There are three different, there are in fact 4 different stakeholders involved here. 1, the pharmaceutical company. 2, the consultant. 3, the task force. 4, the employees. There are 4 different parts to this question. Human stakeholder wise, there are 4 different stakeholders. So why does the pharmaceutical company hire a consultant? He is not studying the lower salaries. The job of the consultant is to supervise a task force that is already studying the employee morale on salaries. Yeah, so that is what we are looking at. So the task force. So we are clear about what each of them does. The pharmaceutical company, by that they mean that the management or the board of directors or whatever, and then they hire a consultant, and the consultant supervises a project or a task force, and the task force is studying some project or some evidence. Yeah. So let's move on to the options. Why is this underlined part wrong? Studying lower salaries as to their effects on employees' morale. Let's see the options and find out. There's something weird about lower salaries as to their effects. Yeah. Option A, studying what the effects lower salaries would have on employees' morale. This is not the right way. Let me explain why. So the sentence would look complete even without this what. Studying the effects lower salaries would have on employees' morale would have been correct, but the presence of what makes this option incorrect. This cannot be used as an alternative to replace the underlined part. B, studying the effects of lower salaries on employee morale. Yeah, this sounds correct. Grammatically, this is right. Let's keep it and fill it there. The pharmaceutical company hired a consultant to supervise a task force studying the effects of lower salaries on employee morale. Yeah. Sounds convincing to me. Let's park it. C. For studying what are the effects in employees' morale that lower salaries would cause. Okay. Let's substitute there and see. The pharmaceutical company hired a consultant to supervise a task force for studying what are the effects in employees' morale that lower salaries would cause. First of all, there's some complication in the kind of structuring that this sentence involves. But then there's also one more peculiarity. The word for. The pharmaceutical company hired a consultant to supervise a task force for studying. No. The task force has already started studying. So this sentence would in turn read task force which is studying lower salaries as to their effects on employees' morale. So which would have been a more convincing filler here and not for studying. The consultant is not hired for studying. The task force which is hired for studying is already doing its work. So task force for studying wouldn't work here. So this one is also that doesn't work. The last one, studying the effects of employee morale on lower salaries. Okay. Let's compare B and D now. What is it that we are missing when we compare both of these options? Studying the effects of lower salaries on employee morale, studying the effects of employee morale on lower salaries. What is the cause? What is the effect? That is what we are looking at finally. So this question, the answer to this question boils down to what the cause is, what the effect is. So what is the cause here? So employee morale is basically how what kind of encouragement or what kind of enthusiasm the employees have when they come to work. So something is bogging them down, as you can see from the question. So what is bogging them down, or what is the cause? Lower salaries is the cause. What is the effect? The employees are feeling bad or whatever. So this is the effect. Okay, so studying the effects of lower salaries, cause, followed by on employee morale, effect. Here, studying the effects of employee morale, this is the final outcome or effect. On lower salaries, this is the cause. Can an effort precede a cause? No. First, there should be a source and then comes the outcome. So in that order, if we see, B is the right option because the order of cause and outcome, the cause and the effect is streamlined. It's in the right order. So let's fill this up and see. The pharmaceutical company hired a consultant to supervise a task force studying the effects of lower salaries on employee morale. Yeah. So B is our answer choice.